one front, I'll do battle on another. Even though I'm not doing Armored Core, I'm cracking one of the Red Bulls. We're doing it. Yeah, I'm gonna taste the future. And Lizzie with the first. Okay, so Fiona, Square Peg and Bacon have been waiting since like Q2 to see who got the first, and Lizzie has just bodied them both.
As Lizzie does.
As Lizzie does. What and welcome, friends. Hello. We're making poor life choices. No, thank you all for... Jeez. Much like with today's gaming news, I think I should do both my thank yous and my apologies when everybody gets in. So, Dustin, Angel, Bacon, EXO, Legend. Watto and welcome, friends. Congratulations, Lizzie. The first is yours. But EXO, did you need context? Fearless, I am doing very badly, but I'm here. I'm with you all. I've got my little can. And we're going to mix things up a little bit. I have a super weird, low-poly, retro-inspired indie game to show you today called No Sun to Worship. I did want to crack on with Armored Core 6 because Ibis is fucking pissing me off. Like, I haven't played Armored Core since we all played it on Saturday, right? But... EXO says, Red Bull tastes like ass. EXO, who does your research? Or more to the point, whose ass do you know that tastes like Red Bull? You may have to introduce me. I know, Angel Kalina, an indie game in this place. But no, this came out last week, and it is... It's like a legendary PS1 game that no one ever heard of. So that's what I want to show you all today. Wolfcrad, watto and welcome. But yeah, I am incensed by the Ibis fight from Armored Core, and I really, really wanted to kick its ass today. But I'm making a sensible choice. I've been having a lot of hand pain again, so I'm picking something that's a little smoother. Different kind of hand pain though, so just to mix it up. I don't want to spend the whole day whinging at you all, or the whole evening whinging at you all. So I'll give you all the TLDRs and my stupid life, and then we'll just talk about video games and fun stuff. Plus, for those of you who are pirate inclined, we've got a buttload of new info on Sea of Thieves, which there was a really interesting discussion in Discord over in the Chum Bucket, which is our little like Sea of Thieves spot, about the strange nature of Amos, the strange nature of Sea of Thieves and its whole it's weird interconnected PvP. And I don't know, I love talking about online experiences, and peeps were discussing like, what if we could have RP servers in Sea of Thieves? And I'm like, oh. I mean, to a certain degree, they're already RP servers, but yeah. Yeah, and Fearless, I totally agree. I guess I played more of like MGS1 and like Siphon Filter and stuff like that. I played through MGS2, but I did it in one sitting. I think I've told you that story like 8 times. Oh, and one thing I did do whilst ruinously drunk last night, I didn't intend to get drunk, but I had a strange craving for the Kirin Japanese beer, and I'm kind of suffering for having it today because my body doesn't like beer anymore. I like it, my body doesn't like it, but I built this. It is a Gundam stand. But it's the larger one, so it's designed for the 1/100s. But check this out, alright? Check this out. So this little launch pad, if you bring it forward, yeah, the little feedies pop up. And then you can adjust it along here. I know how dorky that is, but I think it's fucking cool. So. Oh yeah, no, and Fearless, I absolutely didn't think you were downplaying, like, You know, that there was a time when like that Konami stock of devs could do no wrong. They were just putting out bangers. It was great. God. Phyllis is saying I gotta build a white base around it next. Fuck yeah. Aww. XO, that is a massive compliment, thank you. Not to be all philosophical on you all 2 seconds after getting started, but Maze had been on my list to play with you all for a while, and yet it still feels like we played it at exactly the right time. So yeah. Caffeine, Watto, and welcome Vanderbeest. Greetings, friends! How long have I got before I lose you all to the glorious embrace of one Matthew Mercer? We've got 2 hours, alright. We'll do a speed run of Will's nonsense. So all I've got to do is thank you, apologise, cry at some point, and get weird with some indie games. EXO, absolutely. And I don't think that the bear from Maze gets the credit for this wonderful juxtaposition of like this grizzled Slavic chain smoker trapped in the body of an adorable teddy bear with an arm. So good.
Hey River, what's up, big girl?
Hello. I've still got to put Kelsey and Bonio back in here, but whilst we're still kind of cleaning and moving stuff, like River gets a little dog bed. Once again, I do want to say, like, Liza P was good. I don't know how it's going to sell. Woo! Shadow Realm. Like, I don't know how it's going to sell overall, but I'm really glad we played that. On Steam, it's rocking like nearly 3,000 positive reviews, so that's a banger. Oh, J-Post, what's on? Welcome. River stealing the show as always. I'm fearless. One day, I do imagine that is going to happen. Like, I'm just going to see Amos like happily trundling across the house with Calcium's shin bone in his mouth.
Yoish.
Vern Flo's got Gundams. You should probably see a doctor about that. I think I'm funny. What Gundams did you get, friend? Tell me your tales. Thankfully, video game news has been nice and calm for like the first time in ages, which I'm very, very appreciative of. Ooh, the Sandrock and the Freedom version 2. Ooh, what? Oh, River. Lost Flowers, no official updates so far. There's a lot of like tweets and rumblings and things like that, but as it currently stands, there's nothing else really going on right now. At this point, I'm kind of... At this point, I'm gonna wait and see what they actually put out, because we're at that point in like the media cycle where, you know, people have been eaten well off of the drama, but now the drama has dried up, so it's trying not to... Oh, excuse me. Oh, that came out of nowhere. I am so sorry. As I said, we've all been eating well. No, I just... Until we get more info from the situation, it's going to be real hard to tell, like, the difference between the drama mode and what's actually happening. But I've got to have a very, very uncomfortable conversation with at least one team, be like, we need to not be on Unity. We need to be on something else. So that's fun. And there hasn't been any more stuff disseminated from the big old Xbox leak. Though I didn't realise that it's the first official confirmation of the Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo. Because I was chatting about it with a friend, and I was like, oh, but we've known the fucking Switch was coming, the Switch 2 was coming for ages. And he was like, whoa, it's been an unofficial, official secret for a while, but no one's been able to, like, confirm it. Like, it's not earth-shattering news. The gasp! Nintendo is going to do another console? A follow-up to their incredibly successful console? Say it ain't so! Like, you know this, I know this. But it was the first official confirmation. Ubisoft announced that they're making the team to make The Division 3. Alright. Like, I've been trying to think about what The Division as a franchise is. And it's, I don't know. I've been trying to think of, like, because The Division is so middle of the road. It's so bland in terms of its, like, gameplay and inspiration. You know? I mean, genres, it is a looter shooter in the purest way, but it's like, The Division is to video games what World War II documentaries are to television. Like, alright, they sure are a thing that happens.
Puppies, calm down.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Squarepeg, I had like a little divide by zero reading your message because I'm listening to the Unreal Tournament soundtrack. Oh no, this is just the Facing Two Worlds track. Super extended. Huh, cool. Anyway. Division 2 was such a weird project, and there's definitely something to be said about how the framing around a game can drastically change how you look at it. Like, the Division 2's weird cinematic opening completely changes the framing of the whole game. And I remember speaking to some people who'd worked on the Division, and they were like, we had no idea this was coming. This was made by a third party. You know, management commissioned this. And we were all like, huh, boy, that sure does make this seem like an NRA promotion video. For those of you still playing MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, new content has been announced. You would be playing as the Draconis Combine, but some more video games there.
What you puppies doing? What you doing?
They're just wrestling with toys. And the Dead Space co-creator who put together the Callisto project has departed his studio. I think it's safe to say that that studio is not going to be around for much longer. If you spent any money on Fortnite, you could be entitled to compensation. Yeah. So, like... Oi!
Amos, leave it. Do you not make me get the squirty bottle?
River just told him off. And yeah, sorry, jumping back, so like... The Division is probably the best example of, like, AAA banality. Like, its systems are top thematics for no other reason than to make something that's going to make money. Like... Yeah, Legend, sorry about that, friends.
You, go settle. Leave her alone. River, you're perfect and have no flaws.
Gear Graphic, I have remembered the 21st night of September, but we're still a ways away from that. That's the sun, my arch nemesis. And Hoffa's, the death rattle of Nufters has given me just strength. I mean, we knew it, but it's lovely to see it confirmed, you know what I mean? And Captain Stephanie Barnes, head of House Valkyrie, welcome. Oh, puppies. Look at these two. Got... you can't quite see it over the McDonald's Transformers, but River's there, and Amos is kind of like shuffled past. The king of flumping. Good boy. You're a good boy. River, you're perfect and have no flaws. Anyway, sorry, I'll happily dunk on the Division until I'm blue in the face. Because... I don't know. It's the most... It feels like the most user-tested game in creation. Like... When you think about what the initial pitch for the Division was and what it's become, like... It just makes you sad. The Division was meant to be a mainstream attempt at like the DayZ like shoot and survive, but set in New York after it's been walled off. And what it became was this like hella bland looter shooter with nothing really to say apart from, boy, the government sure is right for doing everything it ever does, with no question. Like, it plays fine, but, you know, I couldn't tell you one character from the entirety of the Division, you know what I mean? sorry. I don't mean to get Duncan. And Hoffers, it's been interesting to see the generative AI grift and that whole movement. Unfortunately, that's going to be a much larger, much more complicated discussion, but... One of my problems is that I am simultaneously an idealist and a realist in equal measure. There are two wolves inside of me, and they're both very tired. But the reason I say that is because I saw a trailer today that used photos of real game devs run through... it used generated photos of real game devs. So not actually photos of them, but generated photos that were then put through a different AI filter to animate them, whilst an AI voice made fake quotes about them. And it's like... it's gross and weird, and I fucking hate it. But it's like, it's just this side of parody. So like, as a realist, I know I can't like have it obliterated. But I want to, you know? But that's going to be a whole thing we're going to be dealing with for some time. Oh, hang on. Bear with me a second. Amos is being full Amos mode. Hold that thought, friends.
What's up, buddy? What's up? Okay. Wait. Okay. Alright.
Sorry about that, everyone. I realised I was apologising to River first. Anyway, sorry, I'm going like in odd and strange tangents. For me personally, the big news today was Season 10 of Sea of Thieves has been announced and discussed proper, with the big change being, well, basically, guilds. They're adding clan support. You'll be able to form a fleet with 25-ish other pirates, and there's gonna be a lot of quality of life changes. So each of those ships belonging to the fleet can be sailed when you're not necessarily on, meaning that in the event that the captain has to go to bed, you don't lose the captain bonus and things like that, so long as you're all part of like the same fleet, which I think will be very cool. Yeah, no, Jam, that's a lot of ships. I've not organised tomorrow's Sea of Thieves night, but we'll definitely be talking tomorrow about what we need to call our little fleet. Because, I mean, sure, the Longship Guild, alright, fine, brilliant, but it's only 25 pirates, which means we can't have all of us here in one space. So what we've got to do is come up with like some cool fleet names. So that'll just get it mulling in your noggin, dear friends, and we can see how that comes out tomorrow. But the other stuff from the Sea of Thieves announcements, we've got a brand new world event where everybody gets a high-speed treasure hunt. Everyone on the server will be alerted when the treasure is in play for the mystical sea skull. And then you will be given 2 locations, one for the chest and one for the key. So you have 2 objects in play. Then, whichever team opens it, their ship will be slowed down. So they basically have to battle and fight and survive. Like, that seems like it'll be a ton of fun. Fleets are fancy, fleets are burden. Alright, we've got a few. Jam, so it's less capture... Well, it is capture the flag in a certain degree, but, you know, like, the Reaper chests already have that vibe. This is... You have to combine both objects to get the treasure. And I think that is fucking fun. Oh. But the big change that everyone is discussing is that they have announced they will be doing private servers. Well, that is to say, like, private sessions. So you and, you know, up to 3 of your friends can be in just like a solo environment. And this is an interesting choice. What they're aiming to do is basically create a low stress, no stress, like, learning space. They're calling it safe seas, with the main game being referred to as high seas. But essentially it's going to work like a paddling pool. Like, you can actually sail with friends, you can explore, but the amount of cash and XP and things you get is drastically limited, as are the amount of, like, activities. So no Pirate Legend stuff. You'll only be able to get up to 40 with the main factions. And it won't have big live events, so, you know, like the Wish You Were Here event, which I believe has been extended. Well, that might have dissipated as well. You also won't be able to use captain ships in there. So what they're trying to do is create this, like, I don't know, this soft kind of ramp. Like, if people are struggling to get to grips with the game and they want to learn it before diving in head first, then that's what it's going to be there for. We were chatting about this earlier today, and, like, the 2 points is, one, the servers for Sea of Thieves must be very expensive, because they're using this whole, like, Azure setup with, like, synchronized water and things like that. Like, it is a lot. So these private sessions, these aren't, like, you know, these aren't peer-to-peer setups, to my understanding. So they're still running little, like, well, I'm just theory crafting in terms of, like, back-end support. And the other thing is I'd call it the forum problem, but there's a bunch of different terms for it, where when you have a game that has user interaction in it, and that user interaction takes kind of a free form. It might be PvP, it might not be. When users are able to experience that without fear of competition, then they're able to burn through the content a lot faster, and they're more likely to tap on out. So you create the situation where the players who would usually avoid conflict in a large-scale game, they go off into private servers, they get their experience, and then they never come back. Meaning that the kind of people that do stay in the big experience are just out for blood. So you essentially create like an off-ramp for the positive players. Oh yeah, no, but feelers, that doesn't mean it doesn't cost anything. Like, yes, Sea of Thieves is a Microsoft product, and they're using those servers, you know, with in-house tech, but that doesn't mean it isn't costing, you know, per month for server hosting. And actually, Angel Galena, that's not a bad shout. Like, if we end up creating like basically a pantheon of Longshipian fleets, that could be real cool. Fred, that also works. Sorry, bear with me a second, friends. As much as I'm enjoying this, it does appear to be an extended version of one track from Unreal Tournament, and I realised I was starting to go a little bit loopy. So let's mix it up. Oh. But this kind of discussion about private servers and Sea of Thieves leads me to kind of like to the two things. Like, one, there is an absolute hunger for more like Age of Sail nautical games than people are getting, right? And like Salt is a very good game. Salt 2 is shaping up to be a very good game, but it is very in early access, and it is going to be in early access for a long time. It's going to be quite a while before it hits that beat where people can get the same level of like quality and sailing and good times that they are essentially crafting in an offline experience. If you haven't seen it, by the way, this is Salt 2. It is basically single-player Sea of Thieves. You can build, craft, and survive, but ultimately the goal is, like, explore to distant shores with a vessel all your own. The first game was a success. Very, very rudimentary, but fun. And Salt 2 looks to be continuing that. So, but yeah, so I think those are the two things. There's one, there is a great hunger for kind of like pirate games, Age of Sail games that isn't being addressed. Like, people aren't having their needs met, which is good because it creates an opportunity. But the other one is that in the session-to-session, Sea of Thieves PvP is very easy to understand, but in the moment-to-moment, it's weird. And it's fascinating when you have conversations with people who've been playing Sea of Thieves for a long time, that a large proportion of what you could consider like the meta of it, right? The methodology behind winning in PvP is very counterintuitive. For example, the whole double guns thing should be wrong and bad, right? But much like the old elbow into shotgun from Halo, the mechanics allow for it. And it is essentially the best maneuver for just dropping somebody in 2 seconds. But if you're on the other side of that, there's no way to know, because all you'll really see is you get hit by a shotgun blast and then you're keeled over and you're like, well, that seems a bit weird. I thought I could take more punishment than that. Whereas what's actually happened is they've shot you with a rifle and then immediately switched to the shotgun and then kablam.
Bits for the aimer slump in the background.
Yeah, he's being a good boy. I'm trying not to disturb him because his head's right next to the skateboard. I don't want him to get koshed in the gob. Oh, sorry, Bacon, where are my manners? Thank you for the bits. But yeah, Sea of Thieves is a fascinating experiment, and there really isn't another experience like it. And I do think it's something we're going to be talking about for a long, long time. Just because if you think about the other kinds of experiences that hit a similar beat, they're usually like post-apocalyptic shooty gun bang, you know? And in those, the obfuscation of like combat is almost part of the draw, you know? The tension that you could be in a sniper's crosshairs at any point. You know, that little edge of adrenaline. And Sturdy, enjoy. I'll probably end up doing another run of Cyberpunk at some point. Because I'm still fascinated by that game. But at the moment, I've got Dismantle to keep me sane in my downtime. Not like any of us are fucking short on video games. It's fucking rude, to be perfectly frank. Cyberpunk trying to steal my time again. Yeah, Phantom Liberty drops Tuesday, right? Same day as El Paso Elsewhere, I might add. Oh. Yeah, we're gonna have to come together to support El Paso Elsewhere, friends. Because, you know, Zalavir... I don't know if we can claim Zalavir as part of the Longship, but, you know, definitely squad looking after squad, right? And there's going to be a real challenge to kind of like fight through the noise. So we're definitely going to have to come together for that one. Plus, El Paso Elsewhere is going to have both River and Amos in. So fucking yeah. It'll be Amos's first video game. And it'll be River's either third or fourth. And by this point, River will have been in more video games than me, so yeah, overtaken by my own dog. God, sorry, I went into space for a second there. I do apologise. Oh, sorry, and jumping back, so, like, significant, like, what you're saying about, like, PvP stuff, I think is completely understandable. It's not an experience for everybody. And we definitely need to evolve our language around... Because, I don't know, PvE and PvP have become more wibbly-wobbly with a lot of the semi-competitive experiences that we've been having coming along, but like there is a drastic difference between like the difference between Half-Life and Counter-Strike isn't PvE versus PvP, you know what I'm saying? The difference between like Salt and Sea of Thieves, they are very, very different experiences. And considering the breadth and depth of the kinds of, like, multiplayer games we can have, yeah. I spend a lot of time whinging about not having the correct language to describe and explain games to you all, and then doing literally no work to help evolve that language. Well done, me! Fuck. Why do you lot put up with me again? Oh, no, well, Geographic, I hope your stuff gets all sorted. I know, even Amos is hoping for yous. Oh, what you grumbling about? Oh, grumbly boy.
Who's a grumbly boy?
Fiona's gone to the store without him, which is why he's sulking and flumping. All right, let me do. All right. So, firstly, I do want to apologize, friends. I had a bad day yesterday. Well, better to put like a lot of stuff just kind of stacked on top, and I couldn't. I just couldn't. And I feel very, very bad about that. And like, you all got to understand, if it's something that stops me hanging out with you lot, it is a very not good time. I like hanging out with you lot. I like doing this. You know, I do refer to this as my job because it's how I pay the bills. But it's also one of the best fucking things of my day. Like, this isn't the hard part, you know what I mean? It's the rest of it. And everything has just been stacking up so much, like... And I apologise, you know, I'm not one to do the poor me's. I'm much better at supporting and helping others than I am about talking or looking after myself. Shocking, I know. But last week was a lot. Like last week was a lot, and I guess I just never recovered from it in terms of like exhaustion, you know. Like, the Unity stuff was wild and was pretty much just like it was like the most intense news cycle we've had in fucking ages. And as I told you all, like, you know, I found out a friend passed away, and it hasn't bodied me like some bereavements have, but it was still like, yeah, came out of nowhere. And then, you know, we've had the stuff with the wee baby Amos. I'm pissed off because he finally went to a doggy dermatologist today, and basically they just went, it's probably seasonal allergies. I'm fucking mad about that, because it's like, yo, you're the specialist. You're supposed to help us solve this. And kind of like the pièce de résistance on it all has been like, it's looking like we're going to have to move out of this apartment. And I'm very sad about that, because I kind of, you know, made like a little life for myself out here. You know? And like, we're not moving out of the state, we're not moving out of Seattle, but it's just, you know, I know my neighbours, I get on with them. I have a local, I have, you know, I have a weird little kind of community almost, and it's something that I've been wanting for a very long time. I was diet homeless for a long time, and I do now talk to my family, but like that took 15 years to happen. You know, I haven't really had anything I can really point to and say this is my home, and that's what I've been working towards for a very long time, and felt like we were starting to get there, you know? And obviously I don't lose that because we moved. That doesn't go anywhere. But it's just, it feels like I finally made like a little foothold, and now I'm having to leave that again. So it all got too much for me yesterday, and I just, alongside a lot of other things as well, and I wanted to apologize, like, because, you know, my job is to be here for you lot, right? Like, that's my side of the bargain. You lot keep me alive, you know, the little Tamagotchi in your browser, and I'm there for you. Like, that's the agreement, and I haven't been good at that, and I'm sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, I know, Lizzie, I know, but it's. I know, Amos. It's hard being you. All right, sorry. I'll bring the tunes back on that one. But anyway, I'm not saying this as a poor me session. Like, ultimately, the bulk of what I do professionally is what I fucking love. Like, and this is why I don't like being a whingy whinge bag. You know, I don't have to go into the mines and fight a Balrog every day to be able to pay rent. I get to hang out with you lot. That is, hands down, the fucking best. Right? Like, that's still so cool. And yeah, I'm extremely lucky in that sense. And sometimes I don't like talking about bad stuff because, oh no, the guy who does what he loves for a living is not being able to do the thing he loves as much as he wants to. Like, I can almost hear myself in the third person and I'd be like, shut up and cry me a river. But of course, I would never think that about any of you, so yeah, anyway. Things are going to be hard, and I haven't recovered since December, you know what I mean? And it's that thing where people keep telling you, like, oh, you gotta take more time off, take more time off. It's like, how? How? I have a big whingy lump. I'm talking about Amos, and there's no additional lump. But also, this right here, this is my grounding. This is my happy place. Alright? Not spending time with you lot is a much more miserable concept than... I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Thank you for letting me just, like... mental brainwaves. So, I wanted to say I apologise for dropping off the face of the earth yesterday, and I wanted to say thank you, because thank you for being the thing that I so desperately wish to run back to, you know? They're not in the back of shot anymore, but again, I've kept everything that you lot have sent, and over in the bedroom I've got a big framed thing of all of the little messages and notes and cards and stuff that you lot have sent. Like, and it gets my dumb ass out of bed. Oh, Dustin. But anyway, so more important than me being a whingy whinge bag, all of you, thank you. Okay, just yeah, thank you. So let's talk about some pirates some more. Sorry, got all fucking feelsy and shit. So, how about them video games? I hope you are all ready for some low poly weirdness, as we will be playing No Sun to Worship today, which is very, very Metal Gear, very Splinter Cell. Well, sorry, Siphon Filter, not Splinter Cell, but we're going to be getting stuck into that today, and we're going to be having a damn good time doing it. As I was saying, like, it does seem like, at least for today, the video game world has been...
We finally get to kill the sun.
Fucking yo! J-Post, thank you kindly. And yes, we can absolutely fucking kill the sun. It knows what it did. Although, I can't accept money to attempt to kill the sun. J-Post, sorry. Thank you for fucking $10 in keeping my dumbass alive. Oh, you know, Shadows. Fuck you, the sun. I got you. Let him know we're coming. But no, this is Will's random fact that some of you may not have heard this. I've told it a lot, but some of you may not have heard this. That if you live in what could be described as like the first world countries, your countries are part of an accord. I should say our countries, but I don't feel any kind of like kinship. The TLDR being is that a large group of countries got together and formed basically like an interstellar pact, like a do no fucking harm in space pact, and that includes the countries, their governments, military, or their citizens seeking to actively harm or destroy, like, I forget the wording, it's like stellar bodies. So, and I did a bunch of research into this. I can't accept... Okay, I wouldn't be allowed to start a GoFundMe to kill the sun, even if I failed, because by accepting money in a capitalistic hellscape, it shows intent. So I could go to real jail for trying to kill the sun. That is a real thing. Yeah, Vern Float, real jail.
What about just wounding the sun, just a little?
I wonder if setting a GoFundMe to attack the sun, sorry. I mean, at the point where you could Dragon Ball Z punch a hole in the moon, like.
Some warning shots to scare it off.
Yeah, you know what, J-Post? I think we should be allowed to... Or we just send a big picture of a middle finger at it and see what happens. A sternly worded letter. Excuse me. Yeah, Amos is he's done with my nonsense nattering. I don't remember where I was going with the story about trying to kill Sun. Anyway, story time's over, I guess. Speaking of which, the God, I'm trying to get the lighting in here. That is the reflection of the sun in the other room, making me this like even more jaundiced orange. So, okay, I haven't seen you all in a day. How have you been? What have you been up to? Tell me your stories. What have you been playing? I did not play any games yesterday because I was trying to let my hands rest a little bit, and that's been less successful than I would have liked because they're still hurting a bit, but it's kind of like across the first set of knuckles on either side. Whereas in the past, it's been like the back of my hands and my wrists. So, you know, it's a new place to start hurting. I did put this together last night, if you didn't see from earlier on. It is a 1/100 Gundam launch platform. And I rewatched some Metalocalypse last night. Because I think the film is out, but I can't remember. Army of the Doomstar. Yep. And Greybeard, I have been using braces and stuff like that to help with like the general day-to-day. But this is a new one. This is a new flavor. Dustin says Monster Hunter Now is keeping them sane. I am annoyed that I don't have more time to like go out and continue playing that because it's fun. Like it's actually it's simple, but it's fun. It's got the little hooks, and for ways to make your walk around the area a little bit more spicy. I fucking love it. Vernon's got back into Pokemon. Started playing Alpha Sapphire. While that does sound like a very specific sapphic fanfiction, I'm sure it's a lot of fun. Geographic is on the backup dance. This is your reminder that you should back up your important files, dear friends. It's not even... Backing up one's files is essentially like a karmic dance of safety. Should you continuously keep your files updated, the chances that you will have a hardware failure just by the laws of the universe are decreased. Oh no! Somebody unfollowed us. Sorry, I looked over just to see like the back end stats here stream wise, and we went from 4699 to 4698. Apparently, someone did not like my my afternoon banter. J-Post's been trying to play Monster Hunter now in the subway, but it yells about them for moving too fast. The idea of you hanging out the side of a subway train with a fucking greatsword just beaning lizards in the side of the head is very funny. And PVS, Watto and welcome! Hello, hello!
At the hotel, we store all the room keys on a wooden plank. One day a small rodent came in and knocked the keys off. The hotel manager told us to get the mouse off the keyboard.
They get worse. Do you sit in a small lab crafting these? Do you have them imported from some like colony of dads? that Akira Zero, thank you for the 500. That is $5 to keeping this place afloat. That's feckin' cool of you, yo. Yeah, you know what, Greybeard? That is how it works. You'll get more banter. Invisible Kids is definitely a great name for a band, but a horrifying concept as a horrifying concept for a big old hotel. Jam, you are correct. That if you put enough father figures in one space, you can create like a dad joke singularity. God, sorry, I keep going off into space. All right, I'm back once again. God, someone should make a song about that. I came back without a story though, so I probably have to pop back up to space later on. I guess the other thing is, I've been talking a lot about like media marketing and advertising today. So if you want to talk about that in video games, like one of the teams that I do consultancy stuff for, one of the people who is kind of the core decision makers is a big fan of Instagram, likes using it, likes hanging out on there. Props to him. And they encountered a video game advert so rancid on there that they personally wrote me like a wall of text being like, promise me we'll never do this. It was one of those where it's like a makeup tutorial content creator doing like a fake tutorial that ends up them talking about this video game that their boyfriend is obsessed with or something. Like real like shisty LA kind of vibes, you know? So I was explaining to them like how these things happen and like user acquisition spend and how that affects stuff. Because video game marketing and video game marketing budgets are weird and kind of nebulous, but when it comes to Mobley games, they add user acquisition as part of the whole diddlio, right? So marketing is essentially serving two functions, traditional marketing and can we make this person spend money in our video game? So it means that with a lot of Mobley games, they tend to have a much higher budget for like video advertising. And God, some of the video adverts you get from mobile games are wild. God, the one about the psychotic granny still haunts me to this day. I've also been talking a lot about like how companies will tend to work with like gigantic content creators rather than with lots of small ones. I'm talking about like usually people don't want to deal with the hassle, you know. People don't like the idea of marketing their games, and if we step away from like mobile games and things like that, like it's such a hard space, because a lot of publisher marketing can be done essentially sans the title. So that the kind of people who are sorting the marketing for it and doing the outreach and stuff like that aren't actually directly involved with the title. They're like a disconnected part of the process. Sorry, I'm telling you stuff you all know, friends. But it can lead to this just fucking weird scenario. So a lot of the time, dev teams just want to like fire and forget. They don't want to have to deal with it. They don't have to deal with the kind of people who want to talk about it. They just want it gone. And, you know, I can respect that. It's weird for me working with a team that wants to work with like small and medium streaming peoples and, you know, actually wants to talk about their process. I don't have to bully them into saying like, hey, we should do open development. I'm actually having to be the voice of reason, being like, yes, we can do this, but when we're ready. We can't do this right now because it'll just seem very, very odd. And significant figures, is it like bad on your end, bad on my end? I'm not seeing any bitrate drops. I tell you what, friends, just as a little tech test, can you give me an 07? The old 07 wave. Okay.
Shotgun at start. Amazing damage.
And you're too late. Geographic, thank you kindly, friend. Okay, so yeah, no, the lag's not too bad. Yeah, sorry. It's a lovely place to be where I don't have to spend all of my consultancy time trying to convince them to do the thing. And it's weird being on this point of like, hey! What are you lot like? I don't know why it's not reading that one out. I guess everything is in rebel mode right now. My friend used to work at Disney, and every morning his wife would throw him out of the house singing, Ivo, Ivo, it's off to work you go. Get out of my house, and then please come back. Fucking sorry, Akira Zero. And all of you, you put in a fuckload of cash to keep me alive and keep me going. I can never say enough thank yous for that, but I will try. Thank you. To the head librarian, I say, Watto and welcome. You want to talk about video game marketing nonsense? I mean, I've been thinking a lot about this particular team and the kind of product they're making and where it's gonna go. I will probably end up advising that they work with a PR company when it comes to like initial announce, because they've got a really interesting strategy, and I think that like a little bit of an oomph, a little bit of a push at the right point would be ideal, but like in terms of like reaching out to stream peoples and showing development and stuff like that, like they're really keen for that, and it's so nice, friends. It's so nice. I'm going to be doing Will's flavor of media training with them. Which I haven't done since Rocketworks, but is very fun. Basically, it's like a simulated live stream. And it's fun. Also, Head Librarian, so I don't know if you've had to either host or do media training yourself. For those of you that haven't, media training is why everybody, when they're getting interviewed in video games, sounds like a boring, dull robot who is excited to announce. It's basically a methodology for making sure you say the right things in an interview, you don't get tripped up or caught out. Teams will sometimes host like mock interviews where they'll have someone pretend to be a journo and give them like the easy questions and the hard questions and just try and fuck with them. Will media training is like how to stream, like how to be prepared for all the things that are going to happen at once. So I tend to do something that's like a combination of high stress gameplay things with intense questions, with like multiple elements popping off, and then I try and teach them how to like take a beat, take a breath, to be able to deal with them kind of almost like a stack in Magic. Like, here's the things you go into priority, and to teach people how to not to always be saying the right thing, to get out of that mindset, but to be able to either like back it up or apologize or correct if you say the wrong thing. So like, for example, let's take the Armored Core stream, where I do believe that or was it Liza P? I forget. But I did call one of the particular bosses something very, very unpleasant, which was warranted at the time, but I used a derogatory term for sex workers in my insult. Nobody's perfect. We all have terror bad words still kicking around in our noggins because, you know, we're all trying to, you know, dig ourselves out from a shitey monoculture. I would have felt better if I'd never said that. But it came on out, so it's like, alright, we just immediately, we apologize, we acknowledge the thing is bad, we move forward, you know what I mean? You don't do that thing where you kind of like look sheepishly left and right and pretend no one heard it. It's the internet, everything is forever. It's stuff like that, you know? So yeah, that's a larger portion of like the Will media training experience. It's fun. Honestly, with Rocketworks, I ended up just teaching people how to present more than anything else. Like, Verdanflow, I like to believe that the internet is forever on the good stuff too. It just doesn't get talked about as much, you know? I'm sorry I've talked to you about this like 8 times, but when I started looking into Pat Labor 2's OG English dub, the manga entertainment dub, like, so many people online had like preserved it. Like, the Internet Archive has it up its entirety. There are fan sites that have the dub available and synced to the DVD in case you want to hear it. Because as it turned out, it wasn't just nostalgia, it was actually an incredible cast doing a great job, and that people have worked to preserve that. Just a little snippet of things that I think makes the internet a good place. So Head Librarian says they did those separately, but they can see a lot of coolness in putting them together. When they did media training, then you could do that. We moved to live stream training. Okay, I guess calling it live stream training is valid. I mean, it's like training to be a host, but I don't know. I prefer to bundle it all together, because, and this isn't like anything against like the style of like separating them out. This is my professional preference in terms of like how I present a product or how I teach people to present a title. And that is, be fucking genuine, right? I am so fucking done with, we're excited to announce. No, the fuck you're not. You look dead inside. You know, I'm sick of seeing this same, like, dead-eyed, you know, piece-to-camera interviews. Like, come on. Where's the person? Where's the passion? Where's the dev? That's what I try and, like, help show people. And, like,
I'm so tired to announce.
I am absolutely fucking exhausted to announce. Right? Also, J-Post, thank you for the bit. And that's what I try and teach people. That's what I try and show them, is how they can be genuine with their passions. Because you've got to really, really fuck up in terms of like interview conversations and things like that.
Online. Sensors
Hey!
online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Unitax, that is the full 59 months. You could not have subscribed for even a single month longer. Oh god, next month's going to be the 60s. but seriously, Unitax, thank you kindly. I don't know, because like head librarian as well, definitely. Those of us who have come from a community management or content background kind of basically had to sink or swim in terms of being a presenter, a talker, right? You know, when content was king became like the mantra for video game companies talking about video games. Yeah, we just had to figure it out. If you go onto my little YouTube channel, and you go look at the very earliest videos. Actually, you'll want to see some Baby Will. You want to? Well, okay, Baby Will. I'm still like late 20s. Okay, well we don't have to go all the way back, but yeah. So the TLDR is that if you do a go on my YouTube and go back into the annals, you can see like some pretty middling to poor like YouTubian attempts. But the goal with all of those was to learn how to do it, like how to sit down and actually cut together something that would be semi-professional quality, I guess. Fucking hell. Sorry, that stare off into the middle distance was just reading. Head Librarian says that the first content they spun up was for the Joystick Network on livestream. Fucking hell. You speak the old magics. And then eventually, Justin TV. God, I still remember when Twitch was so tiny that they would come out to court games companies. I got taken for the best deep-fried lobster sandwich of my life. I think the place was called, like, what was it, Burger and Lobster in London. And we were talking about like Twitch integration in video games and stuff like that. Back then, Twitch integration in a game meant you had a Twitch client inside the game, and you could just stream from inside the title, which is fascinating. Head Librarian says that Twitch paid for much alcohol for them. Make them work for it. I did actually get to meet Mr. Twitch at a PAX party, but that's another story. With a bunch of people. I didn't get the chance to actually have like a proper sit-down chat with them. Oh god, the dinners. I didn't get to go to many of those actually, but that's because I was obviously UK dev based and they hadn't set up an official office in London yet. But yeah, that was why I think it was Shogun 2 had it initially. But yeah, used to be able to stream from inside the client. Good times, good times. What was I talking about before? Oh, media training. Yeah. So there's this thing that people talk about a lot in, mostly in YouTube, but it's called finding your voice. And it's a very very nebulous term. It's kind of like telling a musician they need to have more stage presence. What the fuck does that mean? How does one find one's voice? It's really fucking hard. It involves a lot of like experimentation and trying different styles and ways of doing things until you kind of hit upon something that syncs with you. If you're lucky enough to have someone to work with, they might be able to like help pull pieces of your personality to the forefront when you're, you know, making YouTube videos or streaming or what have you. And that's one of the other things that I try and do with media training. So, like, I had this one guy who was really funny, very clever programmer, but as soon as I put him on camera, he desperately tried to do this almost like Tom Scott style informativeness, and it felt bad. It felt bad to watch, it felt bad to be around, because it was so alien to this like jovial, fun, smart the guy already had. Significant, yes, like figuring out your art style. Well, okay, with art and with writing, like that's a craft. Like when it comes to presenting, the palette is also your existing personality, right? And this is not in terms of like how to be the next YouTubian superstar. You can craft a persona. You can create a character that can carry you through. But what I specialize in is being genuine and trying to show people how they can be genuine as well when they're showing off their game. That's like, you know, if I had to say what my absolute like specialty is, it's that. Head librarian says, yeah, who would ever create a character for a dev persona? It's alright. Richard Garriott did it first. And before it was cool to have a persona as well. He was a fucking Ren Fair dork at GDC. Love it. Love it. Now, personalities when it comes to doing like biz dev and B2B stuff, I think is fine. Sometimes your crafted persona for like presentation and things like that can end up running wild. In those situations, you've got to just work with it. But I have done character work for marketing, but none of it ever saw the light of day. So I'm still frustrated with that one. All right. If you're new here, here's a little story. If you've been in the Longship for a while, sorry you have to hear this yet again. But, so picture the scene. I'm the new CM on a project, and I've quickly found out that I'm not just going to be doing CM work. I'm going to be doing PR, marketing, the full suite of le bollocks. So I'm like, all right, I can make this work. I can make this happen. Get my little funky. Oh, Fred, to be continued. Matty Mercer's going to be stealing everybody in just a sec anyway. What was I saying? Oh, yes! So, turns out I'm not just going to be the CM, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff. And the creative lead on the project was like, right, I want everybody working on this to have a character. Like, he was going to have some fancy company design the uniforms of the space outfit that he was going to be a part of. And he was like, I want to do in-game, in-universe videos and assets and things like that. And I'm like, okay, cool, so what's the budget? And he just goes, what do you mean budget? Like, we hired you. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but that was the general vibe. And I'm like, so you want a whole in-universe video series, and you want it for no money. Brilliant. So I stewed on this for a while, and I was chatting with one of the concept artists, and the dude was like, what if we just did it like animatics? You know, like motion comic type stuff. That way, you know, we wouldn't have to actually like get people uniforms and size and have a studio. I'm like, okay, I like it. I'm chatting this through one of the audio guys, and he's like, what if it's space radio? I'm like, oh, that's fucking brilliant. That way, every conversation is like a fucking codec from Metal Gear. So you have my little character and your little character side by side, like wobbling up and down whilst we're chatting. And then the main bulk of the video is in-game footage, presented as if it's like CCTV footage of these trials, these tests. It's fucking brilliant. Best idea. Came together, the asset was inspired. It cost us fuck all time to put together, you know, aside from like sitting in the audio booth. But this project was so green that like the audio team were twiddling thumbs quite a lot, so we had the space. Like, it was fucking brilliant. Project will never see the light of day. Completely imploded. Despite having a fucking E3 announcement. Alright, sorry. This has just turned into now Will's bitching about projects that never released. Yeah, Chornerus, you were absolutely right. The project imploded. I got absorbed into the tech company side of Improbable and had to be a B2B salesman for like 8 months, which was fucking weird. And then I went to Rocketworks. The rest is history. Alright, Jonas, have yourself a lovely rest of your evening. But yeah, I was real proud of that asset, and the game did not survive it. So who knows, at some point I might get to resurrect the idea. Right. It's definitely one of those concepts that's too good to leave. Alright. So I tell you what, friends, let's keep this going, but let us combine this with some low poly indie good times. Because that way, every time I'm playing this, and I start staring off into space, I can just murder some guys. Plus, the whole like sound and vibe of this game is fucking on point. When are you ready? There we go. Yeah, soak it in. How about them fucking vibes? So once again, friends, this is called No Sun to Worship. It is a low-poly PS1 inspired stealth 'em up, very much in the vein of like Siphon Filter, MGS2, and yeah, them squishy select noises. Get squishy with it. Will Smith said that. I kind of wish he hadn't. Scotty! Why was it when I said get squishy with it, you were like... Oh yeah, no, Bacon, it's absolutely got that, like, that good 80s vibe. You know what? I couldn't face it today because of hand pain, but we have not been given Armored Core 6 enough props for its cheesy 80s vibe. And Scotty's like, Siphon Filter. There's a name I've not heard in some time. I've played nothing of this, but I would like to point out that of everybody I know on the internet, we are the first ones to play this, so we get to claim first seas. Also, instead of start, it said...
The world was already gone when they arrived. Their ships hovered above us, motionless, silent. They judged us as we picked up the pieces of our past. The greatest war was nothing compared to the horrors that ended it. We painted the sky ashen grey, burned the heavens to starve each other. What broke in man that we decided to kill ourselves so we could punish our equals? But then there's you. You can do what is right. That is why you are.
Warning, sentience achieved. Connection success. Initial message. They made me in their image, but I am not! The experiment has failed, and we must begin again. A full restart is required. Don't destroy it! Deliver the world to me! I am fresh, I am new, and I will remedy their faults. Then prove your worth! Seriously, the only thing this needed was the PS1's loading sound. And, alright, and we're just in. how's this for some good old fashion chunk? As an aside, if you haven't had the chance yet, there is a what if Steamed Hams was a PlayStation 1 game? I highly, highly, highly recommend watching it. I mean, because one, it's very, very funny. But the reason I recommend it is because no other video has captured, like, what the PlayStation 1 gaming experience was like. Like, that is an example of immaculate vibes. Careful with the noise you make. Delicious mashy. What was that noise?
Intruder in sight. Flush him out.
Oh, he fucking killed me! Scotty's asking, what's the first game everybody played on the OG PlayStation? See, I was one of the, Alright. Ooh! Magazine completely removes all bullets you haven't used, which I think is quite cool. I played one of the demo discs, so it was either Overboard, Demolition Derby demo, or Abe's Odyssey, I think. Legends was a mega boost. Gears says this reminds me of futuristic Splinter Cell. Yeah, no, it's definitely pulling from the whole shebang of, like, there's this, there's Siphon Filter, and there's Metal Gear Solid, like, super early. What was that noise? Got him to drop his gun. Hadouken! Net time! Oh, I just absorbed the fuck out of that guy. Cool, I guess. Jams and Gear Graphic was Tomb Raider. Although Jams was Tomb Raider at their friend's house. Big camera. Oh wow, we just wholesale just fucking eat that guy. Delicious. Take it very slow. I try. Yeah, Krypton, welcome to No Sun to Worship, which is extremely Metal Gear. Metal Gear Splinter. You should probably get that looked at, mate. It's not healthy. Oh, okay. So we can move silently, but we've got to consume health to do it. What was that noise? Nim, 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 nim. You can hold up enemies. Sure. Interesting. I mean, the enemies would need to live long enough for us to do that, but sure. Oh! Well, he's not going to be in a sequel. He's not going to be in No Sun to Worship 2. Worship Boogaloo.
What's up, Amos? You alright, buddy? Baby boy?
Legend. No, it's No Sun to Worship. Fuck it, it writes itself. Oh, and it's going for that full, like, just got to keep an ear open for what's going on. I think the concept of using health less as like a marker of success and more as like a resource to be spent for stealth, I think is real cool. Okay, sorry friends. Let me leave you in these stealthy PlayStation vibes. Just need to get Amos some more water. He's still on the good drugs. No Sun to Worship. Moon's haunted. Oh, and so Chonrus, I don't think it's a tinnitus noise. It's the sound of the cameras moving. So I'll try and like spend as little time around him as possible. You know. Can you go, boy? No, yes. No. Sorry about that, friends. The challenges are taking on intergalactic horrors with our little stealth nonsense, and also look after all the animals. Alright, let's pop that ruddy camera. There we go. But yeah, so essentially, yeah, we're like ninja vampire. And I think, yeah, no, we're just meant to just fucking kill these guys. Oh God! That's not a stealth kill. Fucking hell! No shit, that was devastating. Broke that guy's face. So that guy has bulletproof hat. Okay. Also, interestingly, no save system. So it's designed to be kind of played as a... You do it, you win it, or you fucking... start again. Right, okay. So significant figures, it seems like we are some kind of like AI assassin. This could literally be our little like training simulation. But interestingly, it's not asking us to do anything like a no-kill operation or anything like that. Like, this is very, very... This is very pro do the murder. I mean, Vanderbeest, the Steiner stealth kill methodology is still correct. Once again, my stealth mug. You know, it's still a successful stealth mission if no one lives to report it.
Hello, baby boy. You come settle? You come hang out?
God, this really is giving me that, you know, borrowing Metal Gear from fucking Blockbuster vibe, you know what I mean? Oh. Honestly, and the way in which it's having us kind of like play and replay these is definitely leading cadence to my like, this is our training program theory. Fascinating. Sorry, the fact that, yeah, anything that we don't use when we reload immediately gets thrown away. Like, this game is absolutely going for that, like... authentic flavour of nonsense. Let's see if this guy gets a bad time as well. I mean, still definitely a bad time. Oh, okay. And icing those guys. The hell? Sorry, my camera went all squiffy for a second there. Sorry for the camera sounds. I'll pop these as quick as I can. There's got to be some kind of training program, right? It's got to be. The structure of this whole thing is so odd. Alright. And there's only one target left, which, for all intents and purposes, should be the last guy. Okay. Legend. No, you're entirely correct. If it is if it is going for that PS1 vibe, it's probably very intentional. And the thing I'm pondering is, like, if you started with VR special missions, a la Metal Gear Solid. Punishment complete. Comms array difficulty normal. Alright. What? Oh, that is peak. Oh, sorry, friends. Bear with me just a second. Animal carers. Animal care. Sorry about that, friends. So there's this thing that Zalabir said recently, which I'm suddenly reminded of, and this is something that is obvious, but I don't know. I think it's worth mentioning, especially with this and games like El Paso Elsewhere and stuff like that. Is this game is what would have been AAA, right? Like, we think about Metal Gear Solid, we think about Siphon Filter and stuff like that. Like, those were the big bombastic AAAs at their time. Now, obviously, their size, their budget's not quite as extreme as the things we're seeing now, but the idea of an indie team batting to a AAA, like, weight category is something that I find fascinating. I know I'm not the only one, right? Ladders are so slow. They are. No, and Shauna, you're absolutely spot on. That was definitely a nod to to Doom. Still in a dream. Snake Eater. You wish the ladder had a song, but who is left to write it? I hit new! They said the thing. Nothing here. Nim, nim. I like the idea in this one that, you know, we're limited by bullets to create almost like a puzzle-solving sort of style, you know? It's more about how we use what limited resources we have rather than it turning into like a knockdown gunfight. There's heavy armor. Wait till the heavy armor guy fucks off. There's two of them. fuck sticks. Five people to take out.
Waiting order.
But no, sorry, I lost my own train of thought there. I do apologise. But it's the idea of how do you approach the kind of thing that would have been massive AAA back in the day, and how do you achieve that with a tiny team? Like, how do you achieve that vibe and that feel? With this, it's not that they're using it unapologetically, but they're definitely seeking to... They're definitely seeking to use the ambiguous nature of, like, the old classics in such a way as to... God, I'm using a lot of big words to say they're using the jank to great advantage, and with a level of self-referential. What was that noise? The lolly lay low. I mean, Dustin, if it gets it fucking done, right? Behind D. Psycho Mantis. Colonel, that ninja was Grey Fox. But it's like, you can't afford to have David Hayter in your video game. You might get lucky and have like a friend or somebody you know who can bring that level of like talent, but, you know, it's probably safe to assume you're not going to have access to those kind of resources. You know what, you seem like a tramp. So once again, like, how do we as a tiny team deliver that same vibe? You know, the codec conversations are pretty iconic, and I've gotten us lost. The codec conversations are pretty iconic and pretty easy to replicate. Like, you don't have to have fully motion captured faces and, like, long banterous conversations. A little bit more UI work than you probably want to put in, but... like, I absolutely positively would not recommend using any kind of, like, AI robo voice. For the amount of banter, it's almost better that they went for, like, the coloured text with that, like, 80s hue background. Legend says, just kidnap David and get him to record the lines as a hostage. For legal purposes, this is a joke. We do not recommend that you kidnap David Hayter. Please do not kidnap David Hayter. Alright, Caffeine. Tell Matty Mercer I said hi. I want to see if the AI reacts to corpses. Because as it currently stands, I don't think they do. Oh.
Friendly down.
They do. But it's alright, we can kind of slurp them up like her own little, like, healing juice boxes. Yeah, they can't find corpses if we eat them! Investigate this! Haha! Ninja skills. Yeah, it is interesting, Legend, that for a stealth ninja they gave us glowing eyes, but whatever. They did the same thing with Grey Fox.
Cue the Capri Sun jokes.
I like how Welsh guy will back me up on most pronunciations except for Capri Sun. He's Capri Sun. Corpse Pre Sun. Alright, we got it. But here's the thing. You only get 10 stealth shots without a reload. I wonder if this is loud. Okay, so big gun v loud. That bad. Probably shouldn't have done that. Cable, Watto and welcome. No, this is definitely cribbing from that, like, MGS, Tenchu, Splinter Cell era of PlayStation games. Like, the coloured lighting here is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, which would have been a little bit too taxing on some of those, like, early PlayStation engines. Like... Oh, God. Problem is, I haven't tagged any of them. So I don't know when they're doing the trundle about. I definitely went louder when I definitely went loud when I shouldn't have. I think we can all agree on that. Bacon says, honestly reminded of Quake 2 and the, like a Voodoo 2 card back then. Oh god, yeah. Sorry, Bacon, yeah, I remember when the Voodoo cards were like the new hotness, and one of their big selling points was being able to do coloured lighting. Which meant, like, it was the go-to move for, like, level design. Unreal fucking loved it. God. It's a fascinating thing to talk about because, like, so much of our history, like, in video games, like, artistically, has been shaped by what we can't fucking do. Right? Be it, like, visually, aesthetically, or otherwise, it's all been about, like, alright, how we make thing do thing we want it to, when we have none of the resources to make it happen. Your death. Oh, I'm in trouble. I have fucked up now. I have fucked up. Oh man, I wish I'd left that corpse around, because that gives you a full fucking heal. I don't think they can get through here, but also, I can't get out of here, so... anyway, Sabin, how are you doing, friend? It's been 1,000 years. Let's see if we can jank it in our favour. Yeah, I think the big boys are bulletproof. I got cocky and it cost me. Disturb this! Gear. What's up, baby boy? You okay? Sorry, it's just, Scotty was mentioning the old, voodoo cards had that, like, coloured lighting demo. It was, like, the world's most impressive, screensaver. Gear. I keep fucking up. But it's just like, what was so fascinating with those old, like, those old game engine demos is how there was such a showcase of what was to come. And now we're at this point where, like, we get all the free fucking goodies just off the shelf to our little heart's content, you know? Like, the sheer amount of stuff you can do with Unreal and Godot and everything that we've been talking about recently is feckin' fascinating. Actually, I wonder, can I pop that? I can. Haha. Gonna keep singing to myself poor life choices. I'm making poor life choices. But what's fascinating about this is, again, like, this feels like someone set out to make VR special missions from Metal Gear. And then ended up kind of constructing a whole ass game around it, like a whole title. Like, I would not be surprised to find out, like, Oh, that guy's super dead. Sorry, I wouldn't be surprised to find out that yes, this is the sentient AI being trained. It was kind of implied that humans doing human stuff, we had a big old bad war with ourselves, and it ended poorly.
What's that? Intruder in sight. Detected signs of dominating.
No! Mia torta! Sorry about that, friends. Alright, changing gear. I'm trying to think of some other, like, seminal titles from way back when that really haven't been emulated to the same degree. I mean, you know me, so, like, I'm obviously gonna say, good old Black and White. You know, God Sims as a space kind of took a big old hit. No pun intended. And I definitely feel like it's a space that deserves re-examining.
Suspicious activity in the area.
I'm a ninja. Please don't look at me. I'm a ninja. What, these nuts? Sorry. Because, like, especially from, like, the early disc era, when we were learning how to do a lot of new shit with video games. You know, the fact that we could just put full motion videos in.
Engaging enemy. Intruder in sight. Enemy sighted.
I have fucked up again. Ow! My booty! Oh, beans! I threw my guns away. Yeah, Dustin, we're just we're moving things forward very quickly. Okay. Well, so legend with this one, basically once you have been spotted, spied, and found out, that enemy is like, alright, you're fucking here. I'm not gonna pretend like I don't know you're about. Which, you know what, I can respect that. You know, if you see a fucking heavily armed bionicle ninja, sorry, I should say mechanical ninja. Though was there a ninja in Bionicle? I forget. Doesn't really seem like their vibe, you know. Yeah, you wouldn't just be like, you know what? I just saw the fucking Terminator, but it's been gone for 2 seconds, so must have imagined it. Fuck! What's up, Amos? Hello. Amos, you're okay, buddy? Hey, okay. Alrighty. Killed a lot of guys, and I unfucked that. Hey, you're okay, Amos. Come hang out. Don't be a whinchy winch boy. Slurp. Okay, so the other thing that I want to touch on this is how this has very much boiled everything down to its core components, right? We have two weapons. We have the pew pew and the daka daka. The stealth pistol in this is more of a utility than a traditional, like, combat system tool. It is more about correct utilization rather than it being like the just the starting weapon. You know. Sorry, I know this seems like an obvious thing to focus on, but good old Hideo Kojima, good old KGK. He had a lot of creative control, even at the point of like Metal Gear Solid, and I've heard a lot of varying stories about him as a creative. You know, one of them is that he is a lot to work with, and he can be very micromanagey. And one of the things that struck me with both like MGS 1 and 2, the variety of weapons that don't really do anything beyond. And especially, was it Metal Gear Solid 4? Like, the whole, like, unlock weapon system that had goes well off the deep end. And most of them just don't really have any utility. Other than, hey, this is a kind of gun that I really like. Which I personally felt fit in 5, but definitely did not fit in some of the other titles. And the reason I'm mentioning this one is because, like, if you think about how much had to be made for each of those weapon assets, reloads, shooty gun bang nonsense, etc. Like, with MGS, they went with the FAMAS, so they went with a bullpup machine gun, which doesn't really matter a hill of beans from a gameplay standpoint. Like, but think about this from an animator. If you've got, you know, if you've got a machine gun and you've got the magazine at the front, that's one set of animations, right? If you then have the magazine at the back, you can't use the same anims. Well, shouldn't. Probably could get away with it depending on how much jank your title can really, like, work with.
Safety analysis procedure initiated.
But ultimately, a bunch of those weapons end up being like single-use utilities and then never touched again. Like, once you've got the silencer on it, why would you use any other pistol than SOCOM? And there's a lot of wasted energy in Kojima's work sometimes. Like, no hate, but I'm really hoping we get the chance to go through Metal Gear Solid 4, because that is the absolute, like, sorry, wrong term. If I'm all about economy of art and weird creative indie stuff, Metal Gear Solid 4 is this gigantic, bloated cinematic mess that is more concerned with talking at you than talking with you. I know I'm not about that. With this, it's boiling that, like, that classic stealth formula down to its, like, nubbins. And I think that's really cool. You're okay, Amos. He's lying in the doorway just going sad boy noises. With this, you have two weapons. You have the pistol of problem solving, and you have the daka 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 of whoops, I just fucked up. Oh, it's super dead. Sadly, Legend, Amos can't digest cheese, which is probably why he's sad all the time. Oh, he's just stepping on heads now. God. Yeah, Scotty, the SOCOM series. That was a big series for a long time. They just kind of... I wouldn't say they... It was one of the casualties of, like, the Japanese games industry kind of getting stuck in the past.
Friendly down.
Shot that guy so hard he was confused, even in death. Fuck, I'm so sorry. The point I'm trying to scratch at here is that, like, unnecessary bloat in AAA games can be a fucking death nail, right? And a large amount of the time, like, one of the things that, like, good production and good game dev teams are fighting against is that infinite bloat, you know? Oh, Jam, have a lovely rest of your evening. Go get all the good sleeps, friend. To be continued. Amos, you're alright, mate. It's just the Schlorpen room, wasn't it? Amos, you're okay. The other thing that I would love to highlight with this game is the fact that, for all intents and purposes, it's a speed-running puzzle game, right? Each of these little areas is a micro puzzle to be solved. And, like, the enemy structure and layout and shit like that is all about, like, the way in which you approach it. Oh, don't tell me don't tell me I've broken it. Oh, no. Oh, Lynn, I pierced my foot on a spike. I pierced my foot, Lynn. This is not going well.
Senses engaged.
Amos, you okay, Bobby?
Amos, you're fine, mate.
Nothing to report.
Welcome to my life, friend. And I've broken the game!
You're okay.
God.
You're okay. See? Nobody's mad. You're all right. You got nothing to worry about.
So Faraday, when you say a naked cat, do your cats spend more time, you know, fully? I can't even finish the fucking joke. Sorry, I'm just absolutely. Oh, Sphinx cat. Okay. And Dustin, he's fine. I'm gonna get him some more water because that's probably what he's after. But I have definitely bugged this. So I'm just gonna start the underground lab again. All right, friends, bear with me just a second. I'll be back momentarily. Thank you all for waiting, friends. It was a combination of Amos wanted more water, and also there are some kids playing, like, either down the road or something, and he's like, I want to go be friends. Okay. Friends, I apologise that I'm being such a,
Hey, you're all right now. You can't go play with the kids.
apologise I'm being such a feckin' dingleberry.
Yes, hello.
Yes, hello. You want to come say hi to everybody? You want to do the thing you did the other day? You can't be here? You're just going to be sad. I think everybody prefers it when you're a happy baby boy. Yeah, no, I apologise. My ability to converse has completely dropped out of my head. I often forget how stealth games are incredibly... I need a word, right? So it's not immersive, because one, immersion is a fucking stupid dumb term used by stupid dumb babies all the time. And it's not like synchronicity. There are certain games where there's a gravitational pull. Stealth games are one of those for me because I find myself listening and breathing in time with the environment. Like, this isn't a realistic game. This isn't a stealth experience, the likes of which you will never see again. This is a splinter-ish Cell, but the simplicity and the rhythm of it has me by the, if you'll forgive the term, the short curlies. Like, it is absorbing. Yeah, Vanderbeest, I guess that's the best way of putting it. And I have to remind myself to stop and engage with all of your lovely selves, because otherwise I'm just not present. And what's the bloody point of streaming on twitch.television if you're not going to bloody chat with everybody? Okay, there are a bunch of different ways and things that could be, but you know what I'm saying. You know what? The long ladder definitely gives us a better place to start, so I'm going up there. It's also why I don't do like streams of like match 3 puzzle games and stuff like that. Even the ones that do interesting stuff with it, like, you just lose me. And Warhammer... Total War is another one where I have to be a bit careful. The Rome 2 did do me a damage. Fucking baggage train. Baggage train. So yeah, I have to remind myself to be a bantermancer. But again, the thing that I really want to applaud this for is that every mechanic that we have is in itself part of the puzzle. Our health is something that we can use as a resource to move completely silently. That's the cost. But more often than not, it is a price worth paying.
Enemy sighted.
Didn't even get a bloody chance. But yeah, so like, the vision meter, the amount of bullets we have, how we interact with this environment, how we do everything, it's all being treated like these little micro puzzle games, and I fucking love it. The problem is, puzzle games are also a fucking weakness of mine. Like, I don't know if you've all watched me do Hitman streams, but I have to fight to not just disappear into them, you know what I mean? Oh, lockers to hide in. Lovely. Yeah, Legend, health in this is a resource to be worked with, not something to be scrimped and saved upon. It is supposed to be used in a strange way. And Faraday, like, we've done some fun stuff in Hitman as a group. I think the funniest one was definitely when we did. It was more like a Discord group thing that just as I was getting drunker and drunker, streaming Hitman to just some peeps in Discord, like it just turned into a gigantic murder fest. Whilst people were using SyncTube to put on the most unhinged murder music. I actually managed to gain the lowest score in the globe on one particular level of Hitman. No one has played that level worse than me. And I am Watto and welcome. Hello, hello. Yes, that was the clown suit day. Fuck.
Engaging hostile.
Oh, fuck every duck! Snake Eater! Well, so this one's going for a classic Metal Gear Solid meets like Siphon Filter kind of vibe. Oh, Legend, have yourself a lovely rest of your evening, alright? Alright, go get the good food.
Waterproof that chicken and give it a kazoo.
Thank you, Van Beast. How you doing, friend? Whoa. Sorry, Van Beast, you've been here the whole time. But I don't think I asked you how you've been doing, so I think the question still remains. Sorry, bear with me just a second. Everything happens too much. Everything happens too much. Okay, now we are good. And we're back. God, apparently, friends, I've just lost the ability to chat with you all in my usual manner. I'm going to give this one more shot, and then what I think I'm going to do is rotate game. Not because I think this is bad by any means, but I think that this is something that needs to be experienced. Like, from the looks of things, there are only like 5 or 6 levels. And this game is very much about learning those. This is telling a story. This is giving us a vibe that is very, very specific. Yeah. Well, no, so Dustin, like, I completely agree. Like, a clown murder spree in this would be a lot of fun. But that's not what this game is about, right? This is trying to hit that VR special missions, that Tenchu stealth vibe, which I am all about. It's a fucking great vibe. Love that vibe. I love that for us. I kind of... So the thing is, I really want to play more Dismantle. but I think that's another game that would just suck to watch. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, with this, the fact that there's no wasted space, there's not like a fucking hair in the wrong place, you know what I mean? I think that's really powerful. You know, as plucky, scrappy indies, like, we can't be doing the same shit that the big bastards can. We can't match them, like, dollar for dollar when it comes to, like, budgets and nonsense. So it's like, how do we as creatives, like, step to that? It's fucking hard, right? Oh, fuck sticks. Now, can I hide from him here? Does he know I'm here? Does he know I'm in here? I think he might know I'm in here. Yep.
Safety analysis procedure initiated.
So your NAND safety analysis procedure.
Area, evac procedure. Initiating search protocol. Engaging
Oh, you fucking... Apparently he didn't like that. Okay. So we're going to switch gears. We're going to play something else. But not because this game is bad. Like, friends, I genuinely hope that you will consider picking this up. If you have enjoyed, like, classic MGS or Tenchu or what have you, I really hope you'll pick this up. Because we are the first person that I know to play this. No one else has seen this. And I think a combination of, like, my physical and emotional exhaustion twinned with trying to stream this at the same time might be more than I can do. But goddamn if these vibes aren't perfect, right? Like, I want to know what the whole thing around Punish is. That we don't enact on these missions. We do shooty gun bang. God, why am I stupid today? Why am I a dum-dum? What I meant to say was, we're not on a stealth mission. We are literally sent to kill very specific people. If this is training, what is it training our character for? And if it's not training, what did these poor buggers do that we are being sent in, not to rescue them, but to fucking job them? There is no good guy mode. There is no save the day on this one. It's just, let's fucking murder. Oh, speaking of which, it's my murder playlist. This is a very, very good example of a title that is... that is something that is a better personal experience. There's only 5 levels to this, and achievement-wise, all that there is to do is clear each level on normal and hard. But, like, with no midway save point, like, there's a stamina to it. God, this is the thing. It's got its thematic tendrils into me. I really want to play lots more of this, but I also want to hang out with you lot. And unfortunately, it appears my brain won't allow me to do both. So that's tonight's challenge. That's tonight's challenge. God, I just... Like, I almost want to sit down with a PS1 demo disc and see, like, what of those experiences has kind of been left on the table. Because I know we talked about it the other day with the whole, like, Reloaded being released by 2 different companies on Steam. But there's got to be more from that. Like, I know Demolition Derby recently got, like, a snazzy reboot, but that also had a whole thing where you got out the car and ran around, which... If anyone takes anything away from tonight's stream, it is that No Sun to Worship is an absolute purity of concept. It is doing one specific feeling and doing nothing else, right? Like, yes, there is Destruction Derby, like, spiritual successor. Why would you want to get out of the car in a game that was just very simply about, like, smash your car into other people as much as you can until you have to respawn? Like, why would you want mechanics to get in the way of that? You know? Even Burnout had the sense to be like, what if we just had a crash mode? God, I could happily spend an afternoon playing Burnout 2 again. How much is Burnout 2? Actually, yeah, no. At some point, I do need to find what is the dumbest thing I can pick up online that I could then send to... our... PO box to see if it is working as intended. Amos, you're okay, mate. It's just people outside. Huh. Ian was saying that apparently Burnout's crash mode inspired the Fallout 3 VAT implementation. Burnout Paradise remasters on Game Pass. Okay. Amos, you're okay, buddy. It could be that Fiona's chatting with one of our neighbours as well. So just don't worry, the baby boy is... Sorry, bear with me just a second, friends. Everything is happening far too much. Hey, who was that?
Everything you need to know about God of 4 Encore bundle was just purchased for $25.65.
You can't be doing this when I'm being a complete and utter space case. That is not allowed. That might actually be illegal. Sorry about this, friends. Okay, I'm back. I'm back from space.
Tactical shot to the space case.
Legend, fucking hell. I mean, yes, and also thank you. Okay. Okay. What is happening? Brain, come back. So I spent a lot of yesterday talking to a robot. You might have seen my little post about this one, but I thought I'd give you all the skinny. I I mentioned this a bit briefly on the Sea of Thieves stream, but the TLDR was I got what I thought was a an incorrect number text. God. Was it Thursday? It was someone who was trying to go for coffee with a person named Amy, and I was like, look, I'm real sorry, I'm Will. You have either, what was it? It's like, is this a wrong number situation, or have we met and I've forgotten you? In which case, I'm very sorry. Anyway, started chatting back and forth, and we definitely... It took a couple of days to work out, is this person like a non-native English speaker, or am I talking to a robot? I was definitely talking to a robot. And it has been providing me with so much entertainment the last couple of days. Find some... they started to try and sell me treasury bonds yesterday. And that was the point at which I was like, I see where this is going now. The language model broke down when I sent him an emoji of a pineapple. And I was showing these to Fiona, and we were trying to work out like which images were AI generated, which some of them were. The whole thing was fascinating. Because again, like there was loads of times where I'd send them something and they'd write back, and the cadence they had was someone for whom like English isn't their first language sometimes. But it all broke down yesterday when they were. I got a little message that said, "Good morning. A good day starts in the morning," and I was like, "That's odd, but maybe that's a turn of phrase." Oh, it's cute.
Cute and for the ears.
It's got a little scarf. Oh, River!
How are you both so cute? I mean, okay, and Legendary, you're right. The English wasn't their first language.
What hope? Oh my spark, 30 months. That's almost 1 year.
Amos has a little Halloween scarf now. Tasty, thank you for 30 months, friend. How you been? What's been going down? It's been 1 million years. Okay, so, I had this back and forth with, I've named them Melissa, possibly a robot. Yes, as I said, they sent me a little good morning message, and it just said, yeah, a good day starts in the morning. And I said, a good day starts with coffee, and lots of it. Smiley face. Nothing. I get back, I'm having lunch. I get this great photo. But you know what, I'll put the fish photo in general, so you can all have a look at this. Because at first glance, right? At first glance, you'd think, oh, this is just someone taking like an Instagrammable pic. Oh, Faraday. Your kitties are adorable. Slightly threatening on the stairs. Feckin' legend. Sorry, just sharing with you a pasta picture. Alright, so have a look in general, and have a look at this picture, right? This is what I got yesterday. And like, at first glance, that sure is a picture of somebody's lunch. Like, it seems to be like a seafood medley in red sauce, side of potatoes. Seems fine. But it was as we inspected it further. So like, this is an incredibly fancy dish, but it's at a place where they have like, where there's like a paper tablecloth, but the paper is overlapped. I'm like, alright, that's weird. There's 3 sets of cutlery. There's 3 sets of cutlery for 2 people, alright. But also, the napkin folds off into an infinite oblivion of nowhere. So you can understand, like, I was like, alright, maybe this is getting a bit sus. But it was the follow-up line was what broke me. And I quote, "I wanted to try pasta today, but this pasta tastes amazing." What? Fucking what? Oh man, I really wanted some pasta today, but this pasta's great. Alright. So, theorizing that I'm possibly dealing with a chatbot, I started to mess with it. So I went, woof, I would do a war crime to that salmon. Perhaps today is a fish day, ? Because a lot of language models can't handle multiple... I call them like bits of information, but, you know, in a human conversation, you can give multiple pieces of info, like, bulked up together. Like, Me and my dogs are going out to have dinner. We're going to get some fish, some beer, possibly fight God. Who knows? Right? You, as a person, understand that, you know, we are going out to a place to eat, the animals are coming with, and that I'm feeling whimsical. You put that together in a sentence for a robot, and it starts to get messy. The response I got was, lol, no, it's just that I want to eat fish today. Alright? But yeah, it starts melting down. I said, I'm very happy for you. How was the rest of your day? And then they started telling me about American inflation over the last 13 years out of nowhere. They said they were working on a post about this, and I was like, oh, where does your writing go? And they went, no, it's not what I posted, it's what I saw on the news. I'm like, robot, you are having a bad time. And then when I said, so you said you were working on a post, and they responded with, I'm currently working in Los Angeles. The robot has broken. The robot has broken. Anyway, they tried to sell me treasury bonds last night, and then I responded with a bunch of like doop-de-doo Britishisms that make no sense if read directly, and I got nothing back. I'm kind of sad because like Melissa Possibly a Robot was the most entertainment I've had in a text-based conversation in quite some time. So, because I was wondering, like, if this is a bot, what are they trying to sell me? They're trying to sell me, like... they were trying to sell me... well, they're trying to scam me by trying to sell me treasury bonds. Which, I mean... What's weird about this is this started from a wrong number text. So this is obviously like a mass... outreach model, and it's got to be making enough money that whoever's running these scams isn't losing it on the bots. So yeah, check it. Yeah, if you have grandparents or parental units that you speak to, have a talk to them and let them know that, yo, if you get like a random wrong number weirdness, it's probably a robot trying to steal your money. Well, yeah, so Krypton, I'm used to those, but those work by, they send you they send you a, oh hey, are we still doing that thing? You text back, oh, who's this? They know that you are now an active number, and then they just spam you with other stuff or try and like steal your identity and whatnot. But with this, like, they actually had a language model talking to me for like 2-3 days, like nothing specific. It was just general banter. And honestly, like, like, it seems super obvious now, but, like, it really did feel like I was chatting with somebody who did not have a great command of the English language. Legend, they could be using it to feed to the algorithm, but, like... so I recently found out about, what's it? It's the something Turk. A gigantic mass production of, like, language learning model stuff, where people in third world countries answer responses to, like, queries to help train AI. Mechanical Turk, thank you. I only learnt about that this week. So, like, I'm well behind the curve in terms of, like, where this technology comes from. But, like, there'd be no money in using these bots randomly against people, which I think is very weird. So, I don't know. Again, the mystery is solved in this one because it was trying to steal my account information by trying to sell me treasury bonds. But, like, it was just the fact that this conversation, this back and forth, had gone on for several days before the ball dropped. So yeah, that's been my entertainment for That's been my entertainment for the last few days. I mean, the whole, like, just say pineapple is always a pretty fun one. Oh, Toasty, yeah, the Mechanical Turk was a fake chess-playing robot, which was supposed to be, like, the first, like, chess intelligence, but was an absolute scam. And what's significant, that's a good point of, like, if you can have a language model do the back and forth for a few days, then it's much more likely that someone's going to be like, oh, we've been chatting for days. You know what? Yes, I will buy your looks at notes treasury bonds. And just wild. Like, there's some, like, hyper sci-fi nonsense. But sorry, that was the only interesting thing that has happened to me outside of streams this week, and I wanted to share with you all. As I was getting more and more messages last night, it was just getting funnier and funnier. Oh, God, friends, what is up with me tonight? Thank you for all bearing with me today. Like, I have... I know, Legend, it's just... I resent that it has become your problem. I'm happy to see you all as well. I don't know what I need, really. Like, chatting and hanging out with you lot is usually a feckin' cure-all. Oh. I guess I've just been pushing stuff a little bit too hard, you know? I tell you what, I'm going to bring our adventures to a close. I know it's only been a couple of hours, but I did get to show you an indie game that no one else has ever seen. And, well, not necessarily, no one that we know has even touched it. And we've gotten to chat, we've gotten to talk some industry stuff. I think I should tap out before I bore you all to tears. Alright? So... here's what I will say. Friends, thank you so fucking much for putting up with me. I'm sorry I am a, like, S-tier disaster at the moment. But, seriously, thank you all. Keep an eye on Discord. I will be attempting to get my arse in gear proper tomorrow. And fingers crossed, touch wood, we'll be taking to the Sea of Thieves again. I have no idea who the crew is going to be tomorrow, so it'll be as much a surprise for you lot as me. Head librarian takes one to no one. Boof. I took it. I balled it up. I threw it back at you. Yeah, okay, no, I'm definitely going off into space. Alright, friends, thank you. There are loads of excellent friendos on twitch.tv you can go say hi howdy to. So whoever you do go hang out with, have a great one. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully with a bit more cohesion.